Welcome to Nerd Jab number 5. Thank you for joining us. On this week's episode, we get into our long-awaited, long-teased Endgame discussion. So this is your only warning. We will get into spoilers this week. So if you are one of the 12 people who have not seen Endgame on the planet, don't listen to this episode if you're not wanting it spoiled, because we do get into some very specific plot points. We talk about some of our favorite moments, some of our more heartbreaking moments. It's just a well-rounded Endgame discussion, so you have been warned. I give an update on Cancer Sucks, which occurred this past Saturday. We talk about a few new trailers that caught our eye this week, and we talk about the future of AEW and their possible new TV home. So a great show. We had a great time recording this week. Can't wait to have you guys listen to it. It's going to be awesome. Before we get started, just want to remind everybody we are still looking for sponsors. So if you are interested in sponsoring the show, just go to nerdjab.com and we've got some information on there, or you can email me directly, joe@nerdjab.com. So without further ado, here's this week's episode. Enjoy. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
How was everybody's week?
Meh.
Yeah, pretty okay.
Crazy.
I got a new car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
nice.
That's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
going around.
Next week, it's someone else's turn.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Well, it ain't gonna be
I mean,
me.
you
So
kind of did.
It's not going to be
yeah.
me.
Yeah, Spence, it's up to you to make that
It
happen.
ain't going to be me, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get things started. So, but before we start, I just want to say something about Cancer Sucks real quick. Yesterday was Cancer Sucks. Obviously, this is coming out on Thursday, so last Saturday, this past Saturday was Cancer Sucks. I want to thank everybody for coming out. It was an amazing day. We had a cold ride, probably the coldest that I remember as far as consistency. We did have a little bit of a warm snap in the middle, but the beginning and the end were fairly cold. We did dodge the rain, so that was really good.
Sweet.
The counts, they raised over $5,000.
that's
yesterday.
awesome.
Hell
Cool.
yeah.
So can't complain there.
No,
Fantastic.
That's great.
And then I think the bike count was around 70.
Oh, sweet.
So, and that's not people, that's bikes. So,
Right.
I mean, some of
Yeah.
us had passengers. So, again, thank you to everybody who showed up to that. That was a fantastic time. As it always is, we didn't have one last year and it sucked. It
Yeah.
really, really sucked having to wait that long. 'Cause it's a highlight of my year every year. So, here's to hoping that we have one next year and, we can continue to do that. Also, last week was rough.
Yeah, a little bit.
I am really super excited about this week. I think we're going to have a great show. This is, I told the guys in our Discord server, for the kind of show that we do, this week was a gift. We were given so much to talk about. And this is going to make Mings very happy. This week, we're going to start out with Endgame.
All right.
So-
I don't even remember that shit. It's been so long.
Maybe you should have went to go see it again.
Maybe I've had no time. I've just been working.
Yeah. It's I know that we've waited, and I apologize to everybody, and I apologize to everybody for fucking with my mic, but I think we've had good reasons to wait. The wait is over. We are going to get into it. Before we do that, I do want to bring up the current box office run. It looks like they broke 700 million domestic,
Nice.
making it the number 3 highest grossing domestic. I believe that the two are Avatar is number 2 and The Force Awakens is number 1 as far as domestic.
Okay.
Excuse me. More than likely they will take Avatar in the domestic this week because they're only 37th behind, I think.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, they are on their tail.
I might go back and see it this week.
You're going to push it over.
just to help.
It might be my $6 matinee show.
There you go. And then it's still got a way to go before it touches The Force Awakens. Force Awakens was ended at 936.
Oh, wow.
So, almost $1 billion domestic.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That's nuts.
Now, as far as worldwide goes, it is currently the number 2 grosser. It took Titanic down.
Yeah.
And of course, there was this nice little graphic that James Cameron posted.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Said, congratulations. Just a classy guy.
The Avengers logo was the iceberg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was great.
which is great. Yeah. Right now, it is at 2.485 billion. So it's roughly
Man, I need to get one of them Marvel jobs.
Yeah, no shit.
no shit. About 330 million behind Avatar. So still could touch it. I don't think it's going to happen very quickly. I think it's going to take some
time.
Maybe another month or so.
But it should be noted. Sorry, Spence, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think they'll extend the theatrical release if they get close to it, but haven't by the time they've decided to stop the theatrical run originally. Because I think they did that with Black Panther.
Yeah.
They definitely could.
Yeah, they definitely could, and I think that it's definitely got staying power. Now, it should be noted, Mings kept bringing up 3D, but the other thing is Avatar has been theatrically released twice, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So this
that counts.
Oh, is that
this
combined?
total, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
I
you
didn't
could,
even think about that.
you could say the same for Titanic. Titanic had
Yeah,
a
it
multiple
did.
release.
Yeah, that's true.
Titanic and Avatar are the only 2 films in the top 10 that have had multiple releases.
Asterisk.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little, not an asterisk, but it's a little thing next to it that indicates that. So,
It's an asterisk.
it's not.
They're the
but
Barry Bonds of movies.
it's so. Yeah, 330 million to glory.
All right. I think we can do it.
Now, I think that James Cameron is probably going to take back what he said because did you guys hear about Avatar 2 getting delayed?
Yeah, again.
It was supposed to come out this year.
Okay.
It's finished. I think that they're in post production on Avatar 3 right now because
What the fuck?
they shot 2 and 3 back to back.
Yep.
It was supposed to come out this year, and they decided to push it back. And people are suspecting it's because of how well Endgame is doing because Fox is now owned by Disney.
Yeah.
They did the same thing. Warner Brothers did the same thing with one of the Harry Potter movies because of how well The Dark Knight did.
Yeah, they don't want it to squash.
Yeah, well, yeah,
they don't want it to kind
Right.
of take away sales from that one while it's still kind of going.
yeah, and they would rather have 2 big years in a row instead of
Yeah.
2 big movies in a year.
Yeah.
That, so yeah, I don't know how happy he is about that because he's like, I gave you motherfuckers this movie that everybody's been talking about for
Right.
years, and now you're not going to put it out until next year. So,
And it's not even just the next movie that's being pushed back. They've pushed back the next 4 movies because they've already
There's supposed to be 5
announced,
of those fucking things?
yeah.
Yeah, they've already announced 4 and 5, and they pushed those back a couple years, I do believe.
Yeah. I mean, it's, some people do care. I mean, the first Avatar, I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was number 1 highest grossing movie of all
I just
time.
thought it
Good,
was-
but-
I just thought it was fine.
bored by it.
It was fine.
yeah.
I liked it because it was new. Like it was
Kind of the technology.
yeah, the
It was
technology,
almost like-
the emerging technology was great.
It was a gimmick movie.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean,
See what we can do.
that movie came out 10 years ago this year.
Right.
Yeah.
So how many movies have come out like it
Since?
since?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying though.
There's been plenty
But-
of mediocre movies since then.
No, I
Well, I
liked
mean-
it because of the technology. It was the first one to be that impressive with CGI.
If you're talking about movies that are like these big grandiose things, I mean, you've got Pacific Rim,
Yeah.
Better.
Ready Player One, which was infinitely better.
Better.
Ready
you
Player
know.
One, hands down, is better.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's interest for it. I could see them doing fairly well with it, but I don't know if it was worth delaying.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
But
I don't
they're-
think it's going to do as nearly as well.
I think that
first one.
it shows how much faith they're putting into Avatar as a
Yeah.
brand, which who knows if that's
If
misplaced.
they had that much faith in it, they probably should have not, waited 10 years to make the second one.
Right.
Yeah. They wanted it quicker, but James Cameron, he takes his time.
Well, yeah.
I mean, think about it. How much time was there between Titanic and Avatar? 12
Long
years?
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that,
Well,
you
was
know.
that what who was working on that the whole time? I doubt it.
Yeah, according to him, he wanted it to be perfect. Now, I'm not saying.
I don't think he was. I think he was. Just,
I know
he
a
was
part
going
of it
down
was
to
he
the
was waiting
Titanic
for
the whole
the-
damn time. That's what he was doing.
It's like I know part of it was waiting for the visual effects to
Yeah.
come along far enough to make it a decent movie, as opposed to like a Sharknado B movie.
Well, I mean, it.
Wait, Sharknado was a B movie?
Well, I guess that's being generous, but
Yeah, extremely.
I like
I was
sci-
going to say, if that is, then I was a B student.
Same. I had a 4.0 grade point average on a 12-point scale.
I'm the Citizen Kane of students. Yeah,
right.
Anyway, all right, let's get into Endgame. So, kind of wondering how we can do this. Do you guys just want to kind of start at the beginning and just spoil the whole fucking thing? Or do
Iron Man dies.
That's it.
I was.
if Nerdist didn't already spoil it for you,
Yeah, no shit. I got a text from Chloe. Chloe is a notorious. Chloe is my niece, by the way. You know that, but they
I
don't.
know. Yeah, I get why you're saying it.
She's a huge Robert Downey Jr. fan. Huge.
Yeah.
Obsessed with him. And she sent me a text a couple days ago that said, Marvel broke my little heart.
Well, she should be happy, though, because the latest news is that he may be in the new spinoff for Black Widow.
I didn't know there was a Black Widow spinoff.
Why would he
Yeah.
do that? He's retired from MCU, like
it's
altogether.
going to be past. It'll be like a cameo. It's not going to be a
It's
huge
not,
part.
Yeah,
I'll
he's not going to be a
guarantee.
huge part, but he's going to be in it.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
I don't know. I think that almost makes it all not worth it.
No. I think
Unless they waited a long time to feature him in like a little blurb or something.
I think what they're doing is they're moving her movie into the I was reading on it outside. Her special is going to be what happened during those 5 years.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. So it's almost like retelling
down.
the whole story
Yeah.
from her perspective.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
See,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like her upbringing in the
Yeah, like a backstory, origin.
Yeah.
See, that's what I thought originally, but again, this is all rumor because no one really knows
Yeah,
yet.
true.
Yeah.
But they're thinking that it's going to be the 5 years because they talked about how they actually went through several iterations of what she was actually doing during that time for the actual Endgame movie. Originally, they wanted her to be running a basically the United States orphanage because a quarter of all the parents in the world disappeared.
True.
So there are a lot of children with no parents.
Well, some of those kids probably disappeared too.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But that's what they tried
Yeah.
to do originally, and
Yeah.
they said it would just be too much.
Yeah.
So then they transitioned her into running the organization.
Yeah. No, I think that'd be a cool movie.
I think it
kind
would,
of like
too.
stuff like that. That kind of reminds me. Did you guys ever watch the Independence Day sequel?
Yes.
No.
I got about 20 minutes into it and
That's really all
something
Yeah, that's all you
happened and
needed.
I got,
But like, so when they go, I don't know if it was Africa, and they meet that like warlord, and he spent like the whole time fighting the aliens that got left over. I want to see that fucking movie.
That would have been cool.
That would have been a good movie, and that just made me think of that. Okay, I'm done. So back to Endgame.
Well, I think that this is a pretty good way to do this. And I'm just going to straight steal it from a news article because, I think it's the best way to do it. And I just quickly read through this while you were talking about that. 10 Avengers Endgame moments ranked by their soul-crushing weepiness. Weepiness. And the right above the byline it says the blockbuster is a certified tearjerker. And I think that they're right.
Yeah.
And this is from Polygon, just to give
Okay.
them credit. So we'll break it down piece by piece. It is 10. We don't want to go through the whole 10 and spend 3 hours on this, but we'll go through the whole 10 and just kind of touch on each one. So number 10, Hawkeye loses his family in the snap. They start off.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I cried. It's like it came on, and I'm like, well, there he goes.
I've seen the movie twice. The first time I saw it, I knew what happened
Right.
when they just disappeared. But did you notice the dust?
Yes.
Whenever he looks back,
I
towards the
only
barn?
noticed the second time I watched it.
Me
Yeah.
too. I didn't notice the dust the
Yeah.
first time.
Well, I saw that shit in IMAX. So
Well,
Yeah.
no, whenever it first happened, or when the movie first started, I thought like, oh man, the whole fucking family made it.
See, that's what I thought.
And then they flipped it right around on my ass.
Like whenever it first brought up, I'm like, oh sweet, his whole family on it, and
like
it's just like him retired.
In the world. Yeah. Just
And then all of a sudden, nope, gone.
I think it was one of those things where they're like, okay, we're going to give you hope, and then we're going to take it away because that's what you're in for the next 3 hours.
Yeah. Now the Black Widow movie, I want to see his movie where he becomes that little
Ronan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think they should, because that would be an impressive movie for anyone.
It was, it was rough to see that happen, but the thing is, I was so happy to see Ronan, and that one scene where you see him as Ronan. I mean, there's only one little introduction. It's a badass little scene.
Yeah, it is.
And I mean,
I'm
not
talking about with the kind of Yakuza boss
in Japan. Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm not even the kind of guy who is really into action without substance, which is really what that.
Yeah.
Except for the very end of the scene, there's no substance to it. It's just ass whooping. But that was fun to watch. It was really, really cool. Yeah, that's number 10. I would even rate that maybe even a little bit higher.
I think I would rate it higher, but
because you're just like, oh shit, now, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you feel kind of hopeful. It's almost like you forgot Infinity War for maybe about 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and then it's like, oh yeah, I remember now.
Yeah,
that was like the Empire Strikes Back of MCU movies. Number 9, Black Widow dies.
Yeah,
that one kind of got me.
It kind of got me too. But whenever they were fighting over who was going to, die or sacrifice himself, I knew she would do it. Like,
I really thought it'd be him.
I knew it was going to be her because he had a family.
I didn't know.
And Black Widow even has a line. I think it was in the first Avengers when she's talking to Loki about how she's got too much red in her ledger and she wants to wipe it out.
Yeah.
I just watched the original Avengers yesterday again, and she mentions it several times throughout that whole movie. She has so much red she wants to wipe out.
To her, that's her opportunity to do good and bring all these people back.
Now you just added another moment to that movie for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think of that.
She cleared out her red.
Yeah, she did.
Yep.
It's Jesus Christ. And I mean, right? Like, it's just, I didn't see which way it was going to go until it happened, because it looked very apparent that one was going to go over the other several times before it actually happened.
Yeah, I'll grant you that. Like, I knew she definitely, she hardcore wanted to do it. Yeah. He did too, but her conviction, because I think, was twofold. One, she wanted to wipe out the red. Two, if they were successful, he would get his family back.
Yeah.
I think that, I think that the main difference between the two of them, he wanted to do it to save her.
Right.
She wanted to do it
to save
for
everyone.
Everyone's benefit.
Yes.
Not just bringing everyone back, but also he gets his family back.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think that there was a wider purpose there.
Yeah, exactly.
And I did not accept that was the way it was going to go until I saw her corpse.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, I'm one of those people, I'm like, they're not dead until I see a body, Because
and let me poke it with a stick.
Yeah, I've been burned on that shit before.
I had to go back and watch, not watch, but I went back and looked at pictures of the scene where Gamora falls to her death down there, because I could have swore after seeing that happening that there was like a decomposed, skull and bones or whatever down at the bottom there, but there wasn't.
Oh, that would have been cool though.
Yeah, it's some foreshadowing.
That would have been brutal.
Oh man.
Oh, that would have been brutal.
Noted.
I almost don't think I would have. That would have been too much.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know if I would have liked that.
Because it's like I would never be able to watch that movie again.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
rough.
Scarlett Johansson.
But it wasn't there, so I was just, thinking of something that wasn't actually real.
Then why the fuck did you bring it up? Because now I'm going to see it whether it's there or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why I brought it up though, because I was thinking about it and I couldn't remember if that had actually been in the movie, so I was looking it up and it wasn't there, but I could have swore there was something at the bottom there with her when she was laying there.
So much. If her bones were there, it could have added so much.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. I just want to move on.
All right.
I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying it's like because
I'm gonna start making me cry.
We have a lot of sadness to come. This one.
Joe's about to cry again.
No. I'm not going to cry. I'm trying to think of how to explain this. If this would be my number 1. It's their number 8.
Okay.
Tony Stark gets the chance to say goodbye to his dad.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
It was great. I loved the scene, but it was very, very hard for me to watch.
Yeah. Same.
Just because.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
I have a hard time with dad stuff,
Yeah.
and this was like, I don't think that the last time that I had something like this hit me the way this did was when Marshall's dad dies in How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
Which I
That
know
was heartbreaking.
I know that that's a weird, but you know, when you've lost your dad, the scene outside the bar when he breaks down and says, "I'm not ready for this."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just. Let's talk about what's cool about it. So, you know, obviously getting to see the two of them, obviously Tony's demeanor and kind of like half panic, half fascination.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. It also shows something I said in a previous episode, that Tony and Howard are very much the same person.
Oh yeah.
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 You
Yeah.
get to see, it's almost like watching Multiplicity.
Yeah.
it's like watching those two people, like the same person, play off of himself. Almost.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool.
I liked that Jarvis was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
really
That
cool.
was a nice little throw in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pointed that out to Darren. I'm like, did you notice that? What, the driver's name?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It's Jarvis. Yeah. So can we move on?
Yes.
Yep. I'm sorry. I won't cut any more of these off. I just don't want to talk about that anymore either. God damn it. This is going to be rough.
It was a brutal movie.
We're at number 7.
But amazing.
Oh yeah, God, so
yes,
amazing.
yes, absolutely. So, number 6, Steve Rogers glimpsing Peggy Carter through a window.
I honestly feel like that shouldn't be on the list, and the only reason is because there's no way she couldn't have seen him.
I agree.
I was
true.
like, motherfucker, get down.
Like I understand why they put it on there, because I mean it was sad for him.
Yeah.
But in the end, it didn't matter.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean that's the thing. I think they threw it in there because of what was to come. Which,
Right.
by the way, it's on the list, so we're not going to say it yet.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna spoil this properly.
One
Number
step at a time.
number 5, Thor tries to save his mother.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a good one too.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It was kind of like the flip side of the Tony and Howard thing.
Yeah.
Even though Tony wasn't trying to save Howard at that point, he had to learn that for the greater good, he had to
Let her go.
let her go.
Yeah.
But it
Yep.
was cool because he got to have that one last moment with
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, there was a lot of humor in it.
And if you notice,
For God's
that's a
sakes,
trend in
eat a
this.
salad.
As I say, and even she knew that he wasn't from her time.
Yeah, she-
Yes.
While talking to her, so she knew that something was about to happen when he was trying to warn her. So
And it shows the character, what kind of fortitude that character has, because he even says, I need to tell you something about the future. And she said, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not my business.
Yeah.
Yep.
She, like, I'm trying to tell you something bad's happening. Then let it happen.
Yeah.
Because it has to happen.
Yeah.
You cannot
You can't be
change
here.
this.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, not even that you can't be here. Be here, do what you came here to do.
No, I'm
and
saying
nothing else.
I'm saying he wouldn't be there if he stopped his mom from dying.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
change everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, then she's like, well, it's going to happen regardless.
And it goes back to what Tony, I believe it was Tony, said before the snap,
Yeah.
the Hulk's snap, which was, you know, just bring them back.
Yeah.
Don't change anything else.
Yeah.
Just bring them back. That's it. So, I mean, they really adhered to that rule. You
Yep.
can't change anything without, you know.
But he tried.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, tried to bring Widow back.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it almost like kind of teases your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
What would you do in this situation? Would you be able to have the intestinal fortitude to leave everything else alone? And the thing is, nobody in this room or
Would-
Spence can say for
Right.
sure what they would do.
Yeah. I don't know.
Luckily, we're never going to have to face this decision
Right.
because it's very fiction. But I mean, you know, you never know.
I'd become Thanos.
Except he'd wipe everybody out of the world.
Yeah.
We-
Just me, so I can do whatever I want and get some peace and fucking quiet.
We will get to funny lines in the movie because, of course, there was a
there are
lot of
so
humor.
many.
Because it had to be, or people were
Yeah.
just going
Yeah.
to like die of depression. But
Be like that woman who had the Bucky cats.
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
Cry herself into the hospital.
number 4, this is more of a this isn't even a sad moment. This is one of those moments that gives you chills and makes you almost want to cry tears of joy. And it doesn't give any context. It just gives a line. I'm still worthy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one was good.
Which ties in with,
him seeing
Saying
Thor
goodbye
seeing
to his
his
mom.
mother.
Yeah.
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 Oh shit, I skipped one.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
How do you know?
Because I was
So
counting on my head.
No, I skipped one before the
Yeah,
Steve Rogers seeing Peggy Carter thing,
Yeah.
number 7. So we'll loop back around to number 7. Spider-Man returns to Tony Stark's hugs.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
that was
didn't get
awesome.
me sadness. That brought me joy.
Yeah, that made me happy. It was sweet.
It was very sweet. It was very humanizing.
Especially when you think about he doesn't have a father figure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
yeah.
think that, but the thing that bugs me about it is that, living with a pessimist brain, you kind of know what's going to happen next.
Right.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you're just
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll fast forward to the I'm still worthy thing. It's really cool that tied in with the scene with his mother.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, motherfucker, you are still worthy.
Yeah, he is.
I don't care that you're a fat piece of shit. You're still worthy.
Hey, you know
Yeah.
what? We have Thor bods now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything we always wanted and dreamed for.
Just got to look like the Big Lebowski.
Well, you know.
You've got to convince my wife of that.
Well, he has
Hey,
the
baby, I
hair.
look like Thor now.
Probably my favorite part of that whole I'm still worthy part is where Rocket comes in and they're getting ready to leave and he's like, oh, hold on. And he puts his arm out and Rocket's like, what is he doing? And the mom's like, it just takes a minute.
Yeah.
This is going to be surprising. Number 3, which means we have 2 more after this.
Right.
And number 3, Iron Man dies.
Yeah.
And I've read number
Spoiler.
2 and number 1, and this makes sense.
Okay.
Is
So-
it about his kid?
Just
That's a
we'll,
yes.
we'll get to it. I'm gonna bleep that shit just like I bleeped.
Oh fuck! Why are you bleeping anything?
Just cut it.
Just cut it.
this
yeah.
is the spoiler episode.
Okay, so obviously the big spoiler. This is what Nerdist got in trouble
Yeah.
for. Was Tony sacrifices himself literally to save the day. Now you can make the
Yep.
argument that Captain Marvel saved the day. I think everybody saved the day in general.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
a group effort.
But the only way
Yeah.
that this
Everybody had a hand for sure.
the only way this was gonna make sense is if Tony Stark saved the day. If he made that final move that was going to make everything okay.
Well, I mean, there was 15 million different iterations that Doctor
14
Strange.
million.
Yeah.
Oh well, whatever.
No. So, but I kind of want to say about that is even throughout like all the other. So it must have been Age of Ultron because when Scarlet Witch kind of touched his brain, he had been having those nightmares where
Yeah.
he sees all of his friends dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Been
it
having them
almost kind of
since
felt
the
like it would have to
event in New
come
York.
to him. So
Yeah.
it
He
made a
was
lot of
gonna have
sense
to
that
be
way.
the one. And of course it leads to that amazing scene where,
Thanos gets the gauntlet.
well, no,
okay.
when Doctor Strange says, I can't tell you
Right.
whether
Oh,
or
yeah.
not this
Yeah.
is the one, because if I say it, it won't happen.
Right.
But then there's that part where he just holds up his finger.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, there's so many just nerd boner moments
Yeah.
in this movie. And I
Yeah.
think that's one
That
of them.
was definitely one of them.
Yeah, I was fanboying like quite
Yeah.
a bit, different moments.
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and of course, the goodbye video that kind of lumps in with this, the I love you 3000 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
it does.
It was nice to give that character a send off.
He had his 5 years of a normal life,
Yeah.
Yep.
and he gave it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
To save the world.
So
Again.
that everybody else could have that.
Yeah.
Which
Yep.
means Tony Stark does indeed have a heart, which they
Yeah,
tied
Right?
in with the
And that was so great. I
yeah,
loved that.
The proof that Tony Stark has a heart
Yeah.
thing from the first movie.
the first Iron Man.
Well, wait. Was it the first or the second?
It was the first Iron
From the
Man.
first one.
That
I
was
just
the
watched it the other day,
first
too.
one they had. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was
I'm
after he
watching-
replaced the one he built when he
Yes.
was in captivity.
That's right.
Yep. I've been watching them in order.
Number 2.
Oh, you have been?
Yeah.
Nice.
This one is it. When it first happened, I was like, "Oh, that's cute," and then it got more and more heartbreaking the more I sat and let it process. Number 2, Happy Hogan tells Tony's daughter he'll get her cheeseburgers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was actually about to say something about this, but I figured it might be the one or one of them on the list.
Yeah.
Because I was actually reading about this after I had watched Iron Man when we were doing our top 5 last week. But he says that because the first time Tony comes back and sees Happy asks him what he wants, and he's like, "I want a cheeseburger."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and he says, "I'll get you all the cheeseburgers you want."
Yeah.
That was just, And Happy, I mean, how great of a character is Happy Hogan?
he's
And
great.
I'm
Yes.
so glad that we're keeping him.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Are you guys ready
I don't
for
work for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So, number 1, Steve finally gets that dance with Peggy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Kinda figured it would happen.
Kind of that one. When I saw it happen, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, 'cause I remember we talked about it.
she got married
All right.
in history.
But
I read about this today.
Yes, I did too.
She had kids and everything, right?
yeah,
They're
but
saying they're his.
Yep.
Oh, they were always his.
Yep.
Okay.
But what's weird is in Winter Soldier, because I watched that today. In Winter Soldier, she actually
Best fucking one, right?
Yeah. It is. But he's sitting there next to her bed, and she talks about, like, because she didn't recognize him during that time, but she actually talks about how, I'm sorry, actually, it's in his museum, but there's an interview reel saying, Steve saved the whole battalion and even the one that ended up being my husband. So I found that kind of weird because if Steve
It's
ended up
vague.
being her husband, then
yeah, but with time travel, you never know. I mean,
Right.
the thing is, you can reset in the argument of time travel. This is the kind of corner you paint yourself into when you're dealing with
Yeah,
time travel
exactly.
at all.
yeah.
And
There
it,
has to be an air of disbelief.
yes,
Yeah,
and so you kind of have to, and the thing is, I don't want to yell at the nerds for doing this because I understand that we are all very passionate about this stuff. Stop looking for the fucking
Flaws.
holes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
I wasn't even looking for it. It just popped in my head like,
Yeah.
See,
that kind of ruins stuff because
Yeah.
that messes with the timeline.
yeah, but the thing is, if you just kind of let that
But,
go,
So if,
But maybe it always messed
essentially,
with the
but,
timeline.
but I think what you guys are saying is the canon now is that was always him,
Right.
When
Yes.
she was
Yeah.
talking about that stuff.
Yes.
That-
And
and
if you
see, I
go back
could-
to when the Hulk was talking about how going back in the past affects time, he says your present becomes your past and your past becomes your present. So you don't change anything when you're going through time. It's always been that way.
Right.
Yeah.
So if he goes back in time and marries her, then he's always been married to her. But he probably used like a different name so nobody would know that.
Oh,
You know,
that's
he
true.
was
Oh,
back
yeah. It wasn't
before
Steve
they found
Rogers
him
at that point.
when
That's-
he was frozen.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
That makes sense.
Because how could it be Steve
he would
Rogers if
existed
he was
in
already
two
in the
different
ice?
places, yeah.
Yeah.
My thing is, how was he old?
So at that time he was 132 years old.
he was going back to, it wasn't like hide one of the stones or something like that.
He was hiding. He was replacing the stones again
yeah,
in the timeline, including Thor's hammer, which is not a stone, but he had to give Thor's hammer back into that timeline.
yeah.
But
So he had to go back and do that. He was going way back, and so instead of coming back,
he
like he
waited
was
for that
supposed to,
stone to be last.
he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And,
but how
you
far
know-
back did he go?
The 40s.
30s or 40s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's my whole thing was like he's
The
I guess
super
being-
soldier serum is
being
what kept him
frozen
as
in
young
the
as he
ice.
was.
Yeah.
is
Right.
is why he was young still
And
when he
it
came out.
it did delay his aging.
So
Um,
okay,
The article I read today about him sitting on the log
Yeah.
was he was like 132 years old.
yeah, because you're taking him from whatever it's supposed to be 2019, I
Right.
suppose, back into the 30s, and then all the way back up to 2019
Exactly.
again.
Yeah.
So
Because
Okay.
basically the time he was
Okay.
frozen did not age him at all.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
not even counting that. It was from the point of him being frozen, fast forward to what was it, 2013 or something, and then backwards to the 40s and forward on.
yeah, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah. I think it was a good way to end it. I think
I
it
did
was
too.
a good way to
I
end
loved it. But,
loved it.
Yeah.
it was a good way to end his story, and it was a good way to end the movie.
Yeah.
Because that's what ended the movie. It was him passing the shield off and saying, you know what? I'm done. I've saved the world. I think I've given everything I can.
Yep.
I got to enjoy that
A normal life.
that better life that Tony was talking about.
Yep.
I think is
Yeah.
what he says.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he got a lot more than 5 years though,
Yeah.
and good for him.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He lost so much.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was one of the tragedies of the original Captain America, the first Avenger,
Yeah.
was that you knew these two were in love,
Yeah.
and nothing ever came of it. It just because by the time that he sees her again, she's on her deathbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And her, life has passed both of them by.
And he just can't. He can't move on.
He can't.
No.
Not at all.
I mean, you see him all through Endgame looking at Peggy and his little compass or watch or whatever it is.
Yep.
Well, he'd been doing that from the
whole
years.
Yeah,
Like the only,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think it was his niece was the only, or her niece was the only one that he kind of ever found something with.
Yeah.
And we never really heard more about that. So
Right. Which, again, with the time travel, he ends up kissing his
right.
own
Now you're
great
thinking
niece.
about that. Yeah, kind of gross, Steve.
Wait, what?
Hey, wait,
Well,
no,
like,
it was Peggy's niece,
niece.
not his.
It was Peggy's
But-
niece, but if he,
Yeah, by
Oh
marriage.
no.
Ruined.
Yeah,
but if he,
but
yeah,
he
if
didn't know
followed,
it at the time, so you can't fault him for it.
Trying to etch a sketch that out of my brain.
Jerry.
Today on Maury.
And sassy as the bass, put your cousin to the task.
Why go down the street when you can go down the hall?
Yeah. Moving on.
God damn it. Now I'm okay.
Oh man, that kind of I hadn't even thought about it until we started talking about
The time travel.
how that was the only woman he had really
Yeah.
kind of let back into his life in a romantic way, and
Yeah.
it was his like his niece.
Yeah.
They didn't
Great
show
niece,
it,
I
but I
think.
feel like him and Black Widow had a thing for a minute.
I do too.
yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
I
I
think
it was
they did.
I saw a lot more tension between her and Clint.
no, I agree
Even
with
though
that,
Clint was
yeah.
married, he never,
and
but
between
Banner.
and Banner.
yes.
I think there was something there. It was a mutual.
Black
Like,
Widow was a whore.
She can
it
come
was
this
like
way.
it was like a mutual
yeah.
what's up?
Yeah.
But it's
Well,
not
it's
gonna
hard-
work,
Doing.
so we ain't gonna do it.
It's hard not to be in love with Scarlett Johansson. I mean,
No
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
Exactly.
I still am, and she's got the herp.
Doesn't matter. I will triple wrap that shit.
Anyway,
All right.
let's move on.
That's what happens when you let
Every Avenger.
no A-Rod? Yeah. Been in everything in Hollywood.
Actually, well, she was boning Deadpool there for a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were married.
Yeah.
One thing that was rumored, and I was actually kind of really surprised about because I didn't think they would actually take it this far, but Hulk basically, Banner and the Hulk becoming basically the Professor, I think is what he's called in the comic, but
The indestructible Hulk becomes the instructable Hulk.
Forgive me for saying this, but this is my favorite version of the Hulk I've ever
I
seen
loved
ever
it.
in
Oh,
my
yeah.
fucking life.
I am not a huge fan of it.
Really?
Oh my
It's-
God,
it's
why?
just
it's Mark
fine to
Ruffalo
me.
in
It's
a big
funny.
hulkish body.
It is funny,
That's why I like it. It's because
but
it's
the
funny.
his whole character is the dichotomy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Like
you
Dr.
know,
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of
That's
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Like, that
we
is
had
it.
Yeah, but we had enough dichotomy everywhere else in that fucking movie. We
Well, I
needed
know,
a little
I'm
bit of
saying, and I
light.
get it. I get it. It works, and they made it a good role, but it's just not. It kind of just ruins his character.
So the theory is though that they're going to eventually bring him back is a version of the Hulk called the Maestro, which is basically a supervillain. He I guess just kind of goes crazy and starts deciding that he's going to fight all the heroes.
No,
That
I
would
don't
be
want
awful.
That. I don't want that at all.
Yeah, I like Mark Ruffalo too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that the Hulk is perfect right now. Just
Yeah.
keep this.
I
I,
see-
I
I see
love
where-
it. I'm
I
just.
see where Justin's coming from. Like,
I get it, but I mean, the thing is, like I said, at this point, we've heard enough of the Hulk. The Hulk is not one of those characters that you really have to analyze over and over and over again.
Yeah,
Hulk
get ankle
smash
smash.
done.
No, but that's the point.
yeah.
At least they found something interesting to do with him, and I mean, it didn't really betray the character.
I mean, it does though.
I don't think so.
It does.
It calms him down too much, I think.
Well, I mean,
But
you know,
then again, I
motherfucker
think-
need to chill out.
Yeah. Well, then again,
Yeah.
I see why they did it. Like,
No, I see why they did it, and I get it, and it works. I just don't like it.
right.
That's all.
Fair enough.
It didn't ruin the movie for me or anything like that, but I feel like it does. I don't know. It's up there with making the Mandarin some dude
Oh,
who was an actor. You know, taking a very
intense.
character and someone who is a legitimate bad guy, his number one kind of bad guy,
Yeah.
and making him a joke for the sake of Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a treatment to like that. So
Do you not like Guy Pearce?
I just don't see why it needed done that way. That's all.
I do like
Like,
Ben
it's not
Kingsley
like-
a lot.
No, and I like both of them, and I have nothing against Guy Pearce. But like, if you're gonna do that, I feel like you needed somebody to be worthy of it. And I just don't know if Guy Pearce is it.
Yeah.
Guy
No,
Pearce as whatever Killian was not it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I can see that. That was fair.
But yeah, so it's just not my favorite. But
Cool.
I'm fine with other people liking it, and I'm fine with it being in a movie. Just not a big fan of that direction.
Right on.
Well, but before we take a break, I do want to get into the Brie Larson thing. But before I do, I said that I was going to do this last week. My favorite line in Endgame. And it's my favorite line because it's so funny. And the delivery on it is just tremendous. It is Thor. Go figure. And it's when he's in full Lebowski mode. And Tony, he goes through this big rant and his brain's all over the place.
Yeah.
Because he's drunk.
Yeah.
And I think Tony is the one who says, hey, buddy, do you want some breakfast? He goes, no, I'll have a Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
and again, I don't know if the line was so much funny, the delivery was fantastic.
Yeah.
So
I think my favorite was whenever they were playing Fortnite and they're going against that little kid and he's like, "Who's doing it again?" And he just gets up and starts running on this guy.
I saw a,
hi, this is Thor, the God of Thunder.
I saw a comic that somebody made about that scene, and it ended up with Thanos being on the other end of the game. It was like, what was it? New Master 69.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Thanos. I saw that. It was Loki.
Was it?
Loki was on the other end of it.
That
Yeah.
could be.
That
could
would've
be,
been
yeah.
cool.
That's a good one,
Which
too.
makes it so much funnier.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wrote a blog post that I try not to intersect the blog and the podcast a whole lot because the blog is very much my thing, whereas Nerd Jab is something I share with you guys. But this is relevant. So last week we got asked a question by a listener about Brie Larson.
Yeah.
And honestly, I hadn't heard anything about it.
I really hadn't either.
I hadn't either.
I had not, I did not know that there was any kind of issue or anything like that or perceived issue, which I think it's more of the latter.
Yeah,
Perceived
most
issue.
likely.
Yeah.
But it was, she asked about her attitude, and I guess there was an interview with Chris Hemsworth, her, and Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
The three of them together. It
Yeah.
was Entertainment Tonight was doing it, and there were a couple of barbs, there were a couple of little things thrown, but you see that a lot especially with ensemble things. They're all
Yeah.
going to throw shade
yeah.
at each other, and she is the new girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys have been around for almost a decade, if not
Yeah.
longer. So, I mean, they're going to throw shit at each other.
Yeah.
That's just the way
Oh,
that
yeah.
you do. It's like what we do here.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's like what we do.
yeah, if I didn't love you guys, I'd treat you better.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's the way it is. And except for Spence, I hate that fucking guy. But I think that it turned into an opportunity for the worst type of nerd to come out of the woodwork. We have a contingency of these people who they think they're superior.
Yeah.
They think that they are better than the uninitiated, if
The
you will.
masses.
Yeah. And that, they know what's
Plebeians.
they know what's best for everybody, and they're so much smarter and all this. I cannot stand these fuckers. I can't stand them.
They basically always have an OkCupid account.
Wait, I have one.
Okay, stupid.
I didn't say everybody on OkCupid was this
Oh,
guy, but
okay.
all of these guys have an OkCupid account.
To be fair, confession, I met my wife on Plenty of Fish, so I can't really say
That's
much.
different, though.
It's how.
Or they're on Reddit incel.
Okay, that's for another day because you're gonna like push me into a wormhole, and then we're never gonna get out
Oh
of it.
Jesus.
So
Oh Jesus.
yeah, because I got a lot to say about those fuckers too. But
Moving on.
one of the things I said in the blog post is that I wanted to research the topic because I wanted to talk about it intelligently. I didn't want to just assume, I want to know what I'm talking about. And it just so happened that I went to Wendy's, grabbed a bite to eat. And so I was like, oh, I'll look up a YouTube video, put it on my phone. And the first video, this guy proceeds to just completely annihilate her.
Yeah. That might have been the one I watched.
Called her a twat.
Yeah.
And, said it's great that they all hate her and all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, that's that one asshole.
Yeah.
So I'll move on. It was the same fucking thing in the second video. It was like they love the fact that somebody, the new girl is getting
picked on,
taken to task or whatever. And it's like, you guys just have to have turmoil in your life, don't you? I mean, the thing is, I don't know if they don't like her.
Right.
Or if they do like her. You want to know why? Because I'm not fucking there. I'm not one of them. I'm a fan.
Does it really matter?
No.
It really doesn't.
It really doesn't at all.
I bet those guys that made those videos did not like that women scene.
Probably not.
Oh, I don't think they did.
I bet they hated it.
Yeah.
They're probably they probably don't like it when any kind of woman-fronted superhero movie is made because they think that it's political or whatever.
I bet they make a lot of yelling videos sitting in their trucks.
I don't know about the first one. I don't know about the first one because it was all audio, which is like still clips. The second one, the dude looked like he was in a studio or a basement, as it were. Which these days basements can be studios, as you can see. Hopefully ours will look better soon. But yeah, I mean, it's just I hate it when people are hateful just for the sake of being hateful.
Yeah, it's unnecessary.
And one of the points that I made on the post was, the thing that is great about nerd culture, geek culture, whatever you want to call it, is that it unites a group of people that wouldn't be united otherwise.
Right.
It doesn't care what race you are. It doesn't care what your sexual orientation is. It doesn't care about your income level. It doesn't care about your religion, your political stance. It does not care about any of that.
Right.
It brings a bunch of people together that wouldn't be united otherwise. And we need a lot of that right now, especially in a world where we are overly divided about fucking everything. That's one of the reasons why we have a no politics, no religion policy on this show.
Yep.
Because I don't want to divide people.
Yep.
I have my own personal beliefs about religion and politics. They don't need to be here. Maybe one day I'll decide to do a podcast where I do display them. It's not going to be this.
Right.
Because I want us all to be united. If we're going to disagree about something, we can disagree. It doesn't need to be about that shit.
Right.
It can be about whether or not fucking Spider-Man 2 is any good.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
Spider-Man 3 is the terrible one that Spence likes.
So
it's horrible too, but it's not as bad as 2.
okay, guys, I didn't mean to do that.
And Spider-Man.
I'm trying to make a fucking point here.
On to the next point.
I'm looking this shit up.
Which is better, Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3?
I see. This is what happens when I open my mouth. I should have just kept it shut and let this go. But anyway, I'm not going to go through the entire post point by point. If you want to read it, it's at thisjoelee.com.
The masses agree with me.
The masses are wrong.
They're not.
Justin
Spider-Man
Bieber,
2 is better than Spider-Man 3?
Justin Bieber's popular.
Not
Yeah, I was
anymore.
going to say the masses
anymore.
love him, but we all know how
Well,
much
I
he
don't
sucks.
think everybody on IMDb and Metacritic is 12-year-old girls.
Nickelback has sold millions and millions of records.
Okay.
I don't give a shit about the masses. See, I'm turning into one of those guys now. It's your fault.
That's not my fault at all.
Anyway, the point that I wanted to make, I will repeat the final line that I had in it, and I said, I quoted Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, really, this shit doesn't matter.
Nope.
You know what I mean? We should use this as something that unites us, not divide us. And fucking leave Brie Larson alone. She didn't do anything wrong. She took a fucking role. She's using her...
Did excellent, too.
Yeah, she was great in it. She's great in just about everything she does. And, she's using her next level of fame. I don't want to say newfound fame because she's,
She's been famous.
former Oscar winner and things like that. But this has pushed her over the edge.
Oh, yeah.
And she's using it for good, just like most of them do. Leave her the fuck alone.
I do wish that she was in Endgame more.
I don't think she needed to be, though.
No,
Dude, this is
really.
coming
No,
right
she
off
didn't
the
need
heels of
to.
Captain Marvel,
Right.
though.
I
mean,
honestly kind of think they made her too overpowered.
Well, that's just the thing, though. Captain Marvel is literally the
She's
strongest
Superman.
person in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if
I
she would have
know.
been there the whole time, it would
It would have
have
been over
pointless.
quickly.
there would have been no movie. at that point.
I agree.
I think she was in it the appropriate amount.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And
However, I heard that there was enough cut from the battle scene that it has its own 3-act structure if they were to add all of it back into it.
Jesus Christ.
I'd watch it.
I would watch it
I
twice.
would watch
oh my
it all
god.
day.
Well, what am I
It'd probably take all day.
Well,
It
Yeah,
could
no
add
shit.
an hour
When-
to the movie, and I would sit through it.
when Iron Man died, originally they were going to cut to his daughter being older, and in the same tranquil place that Thanos went to
Where
when
it
he
was,
snapped.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then his daughter was going to be older, and he was going to be able to say goodbye to her in that
Oh.
tranquil place.
the
yeah.
garden.
Yeah,
His
in the
daughter
garden.
was supposed to be played by
I can't remember the
lead
actress
from 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah,
A show I never watched.
I didn't either, but
Darren did. I didn't.
but I thought that was really cool. But they cut it just because it didn't play well with the test audiences.
Probably just made it
I'm-
choppy.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping what they'll do is, since she wasn't in the movie and wasn't credited for the movie, that they might bring her in to play Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye TV series, because I think she could do a pretty decent job at that.
That show's going to be on Disney Plus, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I might have to get Disney Plus.
I'm gonna have to.
Oh, I'm going to at least
Yeah.
try it.
It's
Yeah.
$6.99. I don't see
I know.
why not.
Oh,
I know.
that's another thing. Hang on a minute, because I meant to put this in the run, and I'm glad you said. I'm glad that I brought that up. I'm glad you brought that. Whoever brought it up, thank you.
Bro, what up?
Disney Plus.
That solo Hawkeye show.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
because it
Suspense.
brought up. So this is a reason to get Disney Plus. Avengers Endgame will stream exclusively on Disney Plus starting on December 11th,
Yeah.
which is a pretty fast turnaround.
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
I don't think that would be the reason I get it.
No. I'm not saying it should be the only reason. I'm just saying that's definitely an added perk.
Oh yeah, it's
I mean,
definitely an added perk, especially if they did like a director's cut.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be sweet.
Have they made many director's cut of Marvel movies?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
But with as much as they cut from it, though,
Not
It could
MCU
almost be
movies.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant.
There,
Yeah,
there
that's
have
what I
been
meant.
of like Fox movies and
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so
You know
so
what? I
that's-
kind of like that there haven't been.
What's that?
I kind of like that there haven't been.
Well, yeah, they're putting out the product that they want to put out. And
Right.
They're not holding anything back.
Yeah.
Because
Cool.
I will tell you right now, one of the frustrations that I have as a Stephen King fan is that there's been a rumor of a director's cut of It Chapter 1 that has yet to see the light of day. And I'm really hoping it comes out this summer, and we will get to more of that later on.
Oh,
We are going to
yeah.
talk about that shit.
Oh yeah.
You can
Brandon's
clock the
shaking a
fuck
head.
out, dude. I'm sorry, but
I'm gonna
this
have
is...
to.
What? You don't like it?
I don't like clowns.
Wait.
That's the idea.
Let's wait until after the break, because I kind of want to. I wanted Endgame and surrounding subjects to kind of dominate the first half of the show, and I think that it has.
Yeah.
So that and the cancer sucks thing at the beginning. So what we will do is we will take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about that and a couple of other trailers dropped this week.
I'm excited about the other
That
ones.
were definitely, we've got 3 trailers. So, like I said, this week was a gift. I loved it. I love that this week was just so plentiful. Next week is probably gonna be like bone
Blah.
fucking dry.
Yeah.
And then also we do have one very, very important wrestling story to talk about.
Yes, we
Very
do.
important. So we will get to that soon. In the meantime, we're going to take a break. We will be right back. Hey, everybody. Joe here. Just wanted to take this opportunity to remind you that it is illegal to leave your house naked. They frown upon that. And plus, if you're anything like me, nobody wants to see you naked. So you should wear some clothes. And what better place to get those clothes than at nerdjab.com on the shop page? We have t-shirts. We have hoodies. We now have, I believe, 3 different designs, including the We Aren't Ready shirt with the Nerd Jab logo. And of course, my muff doesn't stink. So, if you absolutely have to let people know that you have a fresh muff, we have the t-shirt for that. Plus, we have the design that won our t-shirt design contest. Amateur hour here. That shirt is also available on the Nerd Jab website. So go to nerdjab.com, click the little link that says shop, and look at our t-shirts and hoodies. They are very reasonably priced, and they will make you look reasonably fashionable. So again, that's nerdjab.com on the shop page. And now back to the show. All right, we're back.
We're kind of bullshitting a little bit
Yeah, a
before
little
coming
bit.
back.
A little bit.
Nerding out about
Not very
some non-nerdy
smooth coming
stuff.
in.
They've got
That's a different kind of nerd.
They've got a lot of really cool stuff to talk about. I understand.
But it just doesn't pertain to the show. So
Yeah.
We're going to start car nerd jab.
That's fine. It'll be a short show.
yeah, and I'm done.
It'll just be me
Carjab.
talking into a microphone for an hour every
That's
week.
okay.
Hey,
So
do what he wants to
Just
do.
rambling.
Yep.
I ramble real bad.
are you done rambling now?
Yeah. That was not a ramble. I'll
wanna see a
show you
ramble?
a
Yeah.
ramble.
All right. So let's get to the trailers now. Like I said earlier, this week was a gift
Yeah,
to
it was.
us. We got 3, count them, 3 trailers
1,
to
2,
talk
3.
about.
I knew he was going to do that.
Do what?
He
You said
counted.
count them, and I said
Counted
1, 2, 3.
Okay. Number 4.
Bubble boy.
Bubble boy.
So let's talk about the first one. Of course, we just got done talking about Endgame. And of course, the first thing to come right after the lift of the ban from the Russo brothers
Was me.
a because he's like, we're finally going to talk about it on the show. Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah.
Which I'm
now-
pretty sure that was planned.
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
Their
yeah.
band was
Before-
part of that.
Yeah, before the actual trailer, the
Tom
Spider-Man
Holland.
Tom Holland,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like, hey, there's major spoilers. If you haven't watched it, don't freaking watch
Yeah,
this.
Which is a great move. I mean,
Yeah,
because
oh, yeah.
I'm sure that, it's been out 3 weeks. I get it, but people are 3 weeks. Is that about
I've
it?
had people on my Facebook just now going to see
Yeah,
it.
I do too.
Well, I mean, people are busy, but also, I mean, for the opening weekend,
It's packed.
in a lot of cities, they were sold out for
Yeah.
weeks. I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's still some cities you can't get a fucking
Right.
ticket. You can't.
I mean, we
Well-
went Saturday 8:30 a.m. So
Yeah.
I mean,
See,
I
buddy,
mean, nobody
they
wants
were
to go.
not sold out.
see,
How was the theater? Was it? I mean,
It was full.
was it?
Yeah.
It was full. I
Damn.
mean, we got them about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ahead.
Oh yeah.
But at that point, I had already seen stuff that people were, things were on pre-order. At that point, there was a lot of stuff sold out, so I wasn't too optimistic. But then there were plenty when we did order. But by the time I got to that day, the theater was full.
yeah.
Damn.
So Spider-Man: Far From Home obviously is the next step.
Looks awesome.
It's going to concentrate very heavily on 2 things. One being Peter Parker goes on vacation.
Yep.
They go to Europe. And then the other, am I right on that? Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Italy, I believe.
Gotcha. And then also it's Peter dealing with the death of Tony Stark. I mean,
Yeah.
very, very heavy emphasis on that.
Yeah.
Happy Hogan has basically become
Guardian.
full-time secretary.
Yeah, right. He doesn't work for Spider-Man. He works with
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Damn it.
And he's so old.
John Favreau's looking a little old, but
It's okay.
yeah,
I
no, he
still
is.
love him.
It's okay.
The one thing that I notice is that Nick Fury is starting to finally become more like Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bitch, please, you've been to space. Which is great.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that's a
great
I
line.
totally welcome it.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
do
that's
too.
another dude that's getting up there in years,
Oh,
Yeah.
fucker.
but he looks great.
Black
I mean,
don't
for-
crack, baby.
He's 70, isn't he?
Probably close to it.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting up there, but he looks fantastic. You're
Yeah.
right. Black don't crack. Don Cheadle is benefiting from that right now.
No kidding.
Yep.
Because he's in his 50s and he looks better than any of us.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
Not hard to do.
No, being rich helps.
This is why we're on radio.
and they, yeah, we have voices for radio from what I
Faces for radio.
Yeah.
Hey, I was gonna say faces for radio.
Okay. Anyway,
Voices too, I guess.
yeah, you kind of need that.
Yeah, you do.
Obviously, the villain in this one is Mysterio. It looks like they're
It
trying
isn't.
to.
Is he the villain in this one?
Yeah,
I highly
I mean,
believe
he
is.
will be the villain.
Right.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be
But
just like
he's, from the trailer, he is just another hero almost. That
You
guy.
can't trust Mysterio though.
Well, no, you
Yeah,
can't
no, I
trust
get
them. But
that.
from the trailer, if people don't know the story,
Yeah.
people's gonna think that he is the hero that Spider-Man is going to help.
I can predict what they're going to do with this. It's going to be very similar to what they did. Sorry, Spence. In the Spider-Man game, the PS4 Spider-Man game. I'm waiting for the exhale.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Which part are you talking about?
Otto
Okay.
Octavius.
Okay.
I think, well, yeah, Lee was a little bit more, because the thing is, we expect that Mysterio is going to become a villain because it's Mysterio.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah.
Lee was a,
Yeah.
well, I mean, he was a character in the comics, but it wasn't as obvious as Otto Octavius is.
No,
I mean,
no.
Doc Ock is one of the big
Iconic.
ones.
The
Yeah.
seminal villains, yeah.
And so when you start that game, he is firmly a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Firmly a good guy. And then slowly, as he starts to lose his
progresses.
sanity,
Yeah.
Kind of like what they did with Spider-Man 2 as well. He wasn't necessarily a
Right.
bad guy at the beginning of that
Right.
either. So I think that's probably the way they're going to go with it. I guess you can make the argument for the Vulture as well. Dude wasn't really a villain.
Right.
It was just he was a victim
He
of
was a scrapper.
circumstance.
Yeah.
And he had to fight back.
Yep.
His journey was a lot shorter
Yeah.
to going into
That's
villain
true.
because
Well,
it had to be.
Kind of. I mean, it fast forwarded in time, right? So
Yeah, it did.
when he first, so
The movie
But
starts
he had-
right after the events of the first Avengers.
right,
But
exactly.
they had been at it for a while too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So in the grand scheme of things, it did take him a long time. We just don't see it.
It looks like we're going to have a lot of really good moments in this movie. I mean, Marvel is set up for a great year
Oh yeah.
between Captain Marvel and then obviously Endgame and now this. Do they have anything else coming out this year?
Not
this
that I'm
well,
aware of.
Besides Disney Plus's,
Dark Phoenix. I mean, but
yeah.
I'm not really
But-
no MCU.
But-
I was thinking
Well,
MCU.
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not officially MCU
right.
yet.
Oh, I can't wait. Though.
It's Disney technically. But
yeah,
it's-
I'm excited for that one too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it might be the last time you get to see. I'm fucking salty about that. I really am. I really wish. I really hope that they reverse course on that.
Yeah, I like me some Sansa Stark too.
I
Well, yeah.
really think that they're going to use the House of M storyline from the comics to bring the mutants into the MCU. If
Okay.
you guys aren't too familiar with that, basically,
really.
Scarlet Witch reimagines all of reality to make mutants a dominant species, and it just a lot of crazy stuff goes on. Like Peter Parker's a movie star, and everybody thinks he's a mutant, but he's not really because he still gets his powers the same way he did, and he ends up going crazy and becoming the Green Goblin, which that probably won't happen, but just that I think they'll use a modified version of that
Yeah.
story to bring the mutants and everything into the MCU universe.
That'd be interesting.
No.
I don't know how they do that. Well, at this point, they've Scarlet Witch is obviously one of the most powerful Avengers, but they've definitely
They've muted her a lot.
Yeah, they've I can't think of the word I'm trying to say.
Not as
nerfed.
bad as
They've nerfed her
Yeah.
powers.
not as bad as they fucked over Quicksilver.
Well,
Yeah,
That's true.
that's the truth.
But we have another Quicksilver that we can use,
Yay.
So
Yep.
if they don't fuck that over
the
too.
better one.
Yeah.
And you guys know they were both in Kick-Ass together, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were. I do remember that. Well, Evan Peters wasn't in the second one. He got recast. His character
did
got
he?
recast in the second one, yeah. So is there anything else that we really want to say about this other than go watch it? I mean, it's...
Other than MJ dropping the bomb that she knows that Peter's
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man.
yeah.
Which, by the way, I read somewhere that is not actually Mary Jane.
It's not.
It's not.
Her name's
Yeah.
Michelle or something
Yeah.
like that. So they've basically
Reimagined.
modified MJ for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
MCU. The only thing I don't like is they're calling their universe the 616 universe, which is the main storyline universe for the comics.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you like that?
Because it's different.
Because that would make them the same universe from the comics, and they're clearly not, because there's so much stuff that happened in the comics way differently from what happens in the movies.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that happens with any comic to movie transition, though.
Well, yeah, but there's one thing about making your own universe is that you don't call it another universe that already exists.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
I'll give you that.
Or say it is that same universe when
Could
you've
have
done things differently than
616
that.
and a half.
I'm just
Anyway.
saying.
One thing I have to say, one thing I love that they're doing with this new Spider-Man arc within the MCU is what they're doing with Flash Thompson.
Okay.
Because, Flash Thompson in the comic and then in the last two canons, the Sam Raimi canon and the
Amazing
the
Spider-Man.
Amazing, he's just a straight up bully.
Jock
Yeah.
bully. Yeah.
Yep.
Which I mean, that's faithful to the comics. I get that, but I love that they've turned him just into like this pathetic, nerdy.
Yeah.
It's like the nerds we were talking about earlier, almost like, a hateable nerd.
I actually kind of like his character.
I love it.
Is he
I
a
love
nerd
that.
or is he more like? Because he didn't seem very smart. He was just in like the spelling.
He was
He's
smart enough
to
to
be
get
on the
into that
debate.
school.
Yeah, I mean,
right, but he didn't actually do anything in it.
Well, we don't see that stuff.
Right,
It's not like they're gonna put him.
but everyone was like,
He's not the
"It's him."
Flash.
doing
Thompson
regional debates in the movie.
Well, yeah,
academic decathlon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it.
what they were. Yeah, I mean, he's smart enough to be on that team. So, I mean,
I figured. To me, it sounded more like he was like a spoiled rich kid,
Oh well, yeah, that too.
and
Yeah.
money got him onto it.
Yeah, I'm not saying
But yeah, anyways,
we're not defending him. We're just saying, I mean, it's
I like
a
the different direction. He's
Yeah.
not a powerful,
yeah,
imposing.
no, I agree with
bully
that. I love it.
jock.
I liked
thing.
watching him getting punched in the balls in the
Yeah,
trailer. That was pretty
yeah, that's
funny.
pretty funny.
when they bag him. Yeah, that's
Who
great.
was that?
I don't know.
I tried to catch it and I couldn't.
I
see.
don't think it was Peter Parker, but it is funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's what you get for a selfie stick.
Yeah, legit.
So we're gonna move on. Spider-Man trailer. Go watch it. It's definitely worth the time. It's a couple of minutes of your life.
Yeah,
And I think it's a couple of minutes well
I
spent.
mean, you're gonna watch the movie.
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know you are.
Get a taste.
twice.
So the second trailer that we want to talk about, we all know HBO makes the best TV shows on fucking earth. Netflix is giving them a good run for their
They
money,
are.
but HBO is the king of that. They have been for a long time.
They've got the money to be.
If you like Oz or The Sopranos or, going back, but even now Game of Thrones obviously
Yeah.
is a phenomenon. Westworld has really picked up traction.
Yeah.
If they could come out.
It'll be beginning of next year. I know but at the same time, I'm okay with them taking their time. If they
Yeah,
do
I
it
know.
right, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I actually still need to watch the second season.
Same, actually.
Same.
I should probably. I was gonna say.
I'm
I
about
said that, and then I was like, I shouldn't say anything.
I'm about halfway through. Darren has seen it. She said that it is fantastic. So, and the first season was great. I think there was only one episode where I was like, meh. The
Yeah.
rest of them, it was a very, very well spent time.
Oh yeah.
So HBO is going to continue that tradition this year. They're obviously going to continue some shows. They have to because
They're doing spinoffs on Game of Thrones. It's been confirmed.
okay.
I know
They
you're
said
not
what
interested,
they are?
but someone had asked about it last week.
Have they
Yeah.
said what
So
they
that's
are?
Do what?
Have they said what they are,
No,
or
not
just
yet.
that there are spin-offs?
There's
concerned?
going to
Okay.
be 3 spinoffs.
I think at this
Yeah.
point they don't really have to. They
No,
just have
they
to
really
say
don't.
We're
got
going to do spinoffs, and then everybody's already hooked.
new
I
show,
wanna
Game
see,
of Thrones.
I want to
related.
see the Hound and Arya on their adventures.
Oh yeah, that
I
would be
think one of
sweet.
them's going to be like a prequel series to everything that led
Yeah.
up to the first one.
That just sounds exhausting to me. I mean, but I'm not interested. So I mean, I get why people are excited. That's fine.
Well, at least you know the people that died in the first season that you liked are going to make it all the way through that series.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure
Yeah.
they could find a way to kill him again. So one of the series that is being very, very heavily hyped is Watchmen. Now, of course, Watchmen, for anyone who doesn't know, Watchmen was a graphic novel that was written by Alan Moore back in the 80s. It is
Fantastic.
I believe it won a Pulitzer. It won some
Yeah,
sort
it
of
was
a,
very critically acclaimed.
or a Peabody or some. I think it was a Pulitzer, which I think it's the only comic that has ever done that.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna look that up real
It's
quick.
such a good comic.
It is.
I've
It's
never
insane.
actually read the comic.
I'll bring it next week.
Okay.
I have the graphic novel.
It's worth checking out. And they've actually they've continued it. They've actually integrated the Watchmen into the DC universe
Oh.
within the comics,
I did not know that.
and it's been very, very interesting.
Didn't they go against Batman or something for a run of comics? Like it was Watchmen versus Batman.
Yeah, it's something very similar to that. And I'm actually looking up. I'm trying to find. I think it was a Pulitzer. I want to say, but I don't want to sound like a fucking idiot.
You already said it. So.
More than normal. So, I know that they did win a Hugo Award. I don't know. There's a bunch here. Anyway, Alan Moore, who is very prolific, he wrote V for Vendetta, From Hell, the Killing Joke, which is easily
I didn't know he did the Killing Joke.
yes.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense though.
Easily the one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Batman short form stories ever written. It was adapted into an amazing animated film. that was put out on the DC Universe label. It was the first R-rated
Oh, really?
DC animated film. It was fantastic. It had to be.
It was awesome.
In order for it to be faithful, it had to be.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
You know, you can take a lot of those stories and you can get them cut down to where they're a PG-13. With The Killing Joke, it would have bastardized it.
Oh, really?
So they did a fantastic job with it.
Do you not know The Killing Joke?
Oh, it's amazing.
Basically, Joker brutalizes.
Barbara Gordon.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Shoots her in the
it's-
spine.
Yeah.
He shoots her in the spine, but I'm talking about which
Spoilers.
Robin is it? Which Robin is it? With the crowbar.
That's Jason Todd, but that is not within this story.
That's not.
No, that's
No.
Death in
Thinking
the
of.
Family.
That is a Death in the
That
Family.
is okay.
Yes.
Never mind.
Which they never did a Death in the Family. They did do one called Under the Red Hood,
Yeah.
which because there
That's it,
is a
yep.
story arc
Yeah.
where Jason Todd is put in the Lazarus pit and brought back, and he becomes the new Red Hood.
Yeah.
Which
Never
the
mind.
Red Hood was basically the guy who was the original Red Hood fell into the vat of chemicals and became the Joker.
Oh, I see.
In one of the arcs.
I see.
Because nobody really knows the origin story of the Joker, but
Well, and with The Killing Joke, the story that he tells, the Red Hood was always just kind of a patsy for the gang that, was supposed to be following the Red Hood.
yeah.
Just
Oh,
in
okay.
case they got
Yeah.
caught, that person didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And they actually tell the Joker's Red Hood origin in The Killing Joke. I need to dig up the Blu-ray and
I'm
watch it.
really hoping that this Joker movie somewhat follows that his past history
You're
from
talking
The
about the one
Killing
with
Joke.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't count on it. Because I think that they're going to completely depart from everything.
Yeah.
Because there was a revelation. Yeah, I'm so glad we're talking about Watchmen. There was a revelation made. I can't, and this tells you how long it's been since I've read a comic. I need to sit down and read these. And I have DC Universe, so I have access to a lot of it. But there is a chair that one can sit in and ask a question, and the chair will answer it for them. Basically, it'll let you know that it knows everything.
Yeah.
And Batman earns the right to sit in this chair, and he asks, what is the true identity of the Joker? And spoilers, it is revealed that there were actually 3 Jokers.
Oh.
And so we live in a world of many Jokers. I think one of them was just a straight up psychopath, very similar to Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
One of them was just a mischief maker, very much in the vein of Cesar Romero. And then the third one was more of a gangster, kind of like Jack Nicholson.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of cool. It's very shocking for him because he's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I didn't know that.
And
But
wasn't one of them supposed to have been like a brother to Batman or Bruce Wayne or something like that? That his parents, I don't want to say gave up, but like somehow thought that he was dead or something like that, and he was made to believe they didn't care about him.
I didn't read enough into it. I will do some research. I will duly research that. I'll read the fucking comic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the best way to do it. But anyway, getting back to
The Watchmen.
yeah. Alan Moore, very prolific. That was kind of what I wanted to get to there. The artist was Dave Gibbons, by the way. Just in case anybody cared, great work on this.
Oh, yeah.
book. And then, of course, it was adapted into a film. The film was okay.
Okay, yeah.
It wasn't great. I think that I have not seen the director's cut. Or no, I've seen the director's cut. I have not seen the complete one.
Oh, yeah.
Some Malin Ackerman, that's for sure.
Hell yeah. They put they did the animated movie thing. They actually integrated that into the movie.
Oh.
And made it's like a 3.5 hour long cut.
Oh, wow.
And it's out on 4K. I actually kind of want to go get it because it also has the theatrical version and then the
Yeah.
director's cut. Zack Snyder directed that, by the way, who he is unfortunately responsible for Batman v Superman, Man of Steel.
I like those.
I did too.
I do too.
And he was partially responsible for Justice League, although I think that Joss
Which-
Whedon
That's the
had-
weakest one.
I was gonna say I think Joss Whedon is the reason it failed. And
I don't think
hate
it's-
saying that because he did a great job on Avengers, but I think he tried to make it a little bit more.
He tried to make it a Marvel movie.
Yeah. He tried to make it a little more like family friendly kind of jokes put in there. Where
Yeah.
with it being DC Universe, I don't think there should have been as many jokes.
I just
little
think,
darker.
I just think Steppenwolf was a shit.
It was terrible.
villain.
It was terrible. The thing is, I think the most thrilling part of the film is the post-credit scene with Lex Luthor and Deathstroke at the very end.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh my God, we're going to get to see Deathstroke. Guess what? We're not going to see any Deathstroke because they're basically, other than Wonder Woman, they're cutting the rest of this shit off. Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
Yep.
So, anywho.
Well, and we might still get a Flash with Ezra Miller.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I like the Flash.
I like the Flash, but his
That was
version
my
was just
cufflinks
kinda,
in Joe's wedding.
It was.
Yeah.
I think it would probably make a better TV series, which it does. It is a TV series.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Watchmen. So it looks like this television show is not going to be a retelling of the comic. It's not going to be shit that we've already seen or
Right.
read. This is a straight up sequel. And I think that it looks fantastic.
I can't wait.
I love the mood of it.
I have no fucking clue what it's going to be about, but I like it.
That's that teaser was didn't really give you a whole lot to grasp.
It gave
onto
you a
the
lot of
story and figure out
style.
what it's-
Yeah.
It gave you enough
It gave
to
you the
catch your
style.
attention.
Yeah,
That-
it gave you
and
no
which-
substance, but
Which I mean, what is a teaser for?
Yeah,
oh yeah,
exactly.
exactly. It told
true.
you. It told you what it's
Yeah.
gonna be like, but not what it's gonna be about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The
That's
room
what
full of
teasers
Rorschachs was definitely something I wasn't expecting. I
Yeah.
figured
Yeah.
somebody would have taken over the mantle instead of it being like a whole group of people.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's going to be like an alternate universe kind of thing, very much.
I
Like
think
the
that's
original.
I think you're right.
Well, I mean, that's what Watchmen was. It
Yeah.
was, Watchmen took place in the 80s, and actually did it. Well, yes, because it was what if Nixon was the president? in the
Yeah, you're
80s?
right. You're right.
And the Cold War had continued and
Yeah.
everything else, and it was it was very bleak. But and obviously the masked heroes
Right.
become the enemy of the state, more or less. So I think it's going to be exciting. I think that HBO will do it right.
Oh yeah.
HBO has a pretty damn good track record.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to this. Anytime that we can get a decent TV series from HBO, which is basically all the time, they do not miss often.
No, they really don't.
So I'm gonna definitely give it a shot.
Oh, I will too.
I would recommend to you, Mings, read the book. Read
Yeah.
the book. I
If I can find it, I'll bring it Sunday.
I can't
Okay.
say anything for like before Watchmen or Doomsday Clock or anything that's come after. I don't know. But the original graphic novel is fantastic. And watch the Zack Snyder film as well.
I've seen the Zack Snyder film.
you
but
have?
It's been
Okay.
a while, and of course I went in knowing nothing, so
Yeah.
I should probably read that and then rewatch it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it would definitely be worth it. All right, boys. Let's get to the meat and the potatoes of this podcast.
Oh,
Joe's
is that
favorite.
this not? Endgame wasn't the meat and potatoes.
Look, here's the thing. I loved the Endgame conversation.
Endgame was a fucking 3-course meal, bud.
I
Yeah, it
know.
was.
Well,
This is just the dessert.
oh, that's fine. I will eat me a bunch of dessert.
Some popcorn.
Give me. Okay, anybody who knows me knows I'm a gigantic Stephen King fan. I love the shared universe. I've read most of the books, not all of them, but most. And anytime that we can get a good Stephen King adaptation, I'm all for it. Back in the day, the only way you could get a good Stephen King adaptation was through a miniseries. Because
Did you watch Pet Cemetery?
I have not.
The newest one?
I have not. I have
haven't
not had
heard
a chance.
anything about it either.
I haven't either.
I
mean, obviously.
I've heard that
Saw a
it's
bunch
decent.
of stuff when it was coming out, but nothing since.
I've heard
Yeah.
that it's decent, but I mean, you're talking about the original was a classic.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah,
mean,
I didn't think
that's-
there was any reason to redo it. Because
that's what I thought.
The
The-
first,
the-
well-
it still held up well.
The original I love.
There's one reason because everybody is hot about Stephen King right now.
Oh,
Stephen
yeah.
King.
No, I get why they did it, but there wasn't a real reason. Like with it, when you go back and watch the miniseries, it's not that
it pales in
scary.
comparison.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the one thing that still holds is Tim Curry. Tim
Well, yeah,
Curry,
his performance is great, but the whole tone of it is not great. And then some of the especially the adult actors
I'm still waiting for that
are not great.
goddamn documentary to come out. Pennywise.
Yeah.
It's about the making of the miniseries. Oh, they've got all of the surviving cast participated. So
Okay.
I'm ready for it. Anyway, that's this year. So I mean, we have seen a Stephen King renaissance over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It started with The Dark Tower,
Mm-hmm.
which was actually not a bad film. It was not very faithful, and it's almost like a sequel to The
Okay.
Dark Tower. There is more Dark Tower to come in TV form, so we're gonna get more of that. And then obviously, It, which was fantastic.
Oh, I loved it.
Great film. Could not have been happier. And the thing is, It is my favorite Stephen King book. I've read it several times. I've listened
Especially
to
the gangbang section. It's his favorite part.
It's a giant pox on that book. I agree. But the thing is, they didn't put it in the movie.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
That was a cocaine section right there.
No shit. You know that he was just high as a kite when he wrote that. You know,
And at that point, they were just like, "Fuck,
it
whatever."
would be kind of cool.
Just write him the
A
check.
bunch of 11-year-olds porking. And there's one girl.
running a train on Beverly.
Anyway, let's try to put that behind us. And then there's been a bunch of other stuff. Obviously, Castle Rock, they're shooting season 2 right now.
Are they?
Cannot wait for that to come out.
I loved season 1.
Really, the only reason why we still have a Hulu subscription is for Castle Rock. I love Castle
That's funny.
Rock. There's been a bunch, a lot of really good stuff, and there's more to come. There's Dr. Sleep is finally getting an adaptation, which is the
finally.
sequel to The Shining. Ewan McGregor is going to play Dan Torrance in it.
Oh.
And also the one that I'm really excited about, CBS All Access is doing a 10-episode limited series of The Stand.
Okay.
And it's going to be hardcore because the first miniseries was 6.5 hours, but it was on ABC.
Yeah.
And ABC, I was actually listening to Mick Garris's podcast. He's the guy who directed The Stand. And he was talking to Stephen King, and he talked about they let them get away with an awful lot.
For ABC.
For ABC, exactly. So,
But it still wasn't what it should have been.
yeah, but this is going to be CBS All Access, which
Yeah.
is, even though it's affiliated with CBS, there are no content restrictions.
Right.
Yeah.
The Twilight Zone is a perfect example of this. Twilight Zone is essentially an R-rated
Yeah.
show and TVMA rated show. So I'm excited to see that. However, that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about we finally got a trailer for It Chapter 2.
It was creepy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the logical, because I mean, I could just eat this up. You know what I mean? I've watched the trailer no less than 6 times. I just over and over again.
I didn't think it was as good of a trailer as the first trailer. But that's just because of the introduction part of it.
Yeah. But
And
I mean,
think the first trailer, it was a lot of nostalgia because there were
Yeah.
some shots that looked very similar to the original.
Yeah. But it definitely gets me excited for it.
well, I think that they kind of have an uphill battle because obviously this is a sequel, but you're dealing with the same characters, but they're very different because
Yeah.
they're 27 years older. The focus, obviously, of 2/3 of the trailer is a very infamous scene from the book and from the miniseries, and it's Beverly going to her old apartment and meeting Mrs. Kirsch.
Mm-hmm.
And she thinks it says Marsh on the door, but she misreads it. I guess it did say Marsh on the door, but trick of the brain. And she's brought in and given tea and all that by this seemingly sweet lady ends up being Pennywise in disguise.
Yeah.
And it's during the first encounters with Pennywise since they return.
Yeah.
That he presents himself to each one of them in a very different way. Being a Stephen King fan to an annoying level, the thing that thrilled me the most about this sequence, did you notice the way she said father?
Fodder.
Father. My father came to that's in the book.
Yeah.
They didn't do that in the miniseries. That was almost like a forgotten detail. Again, they are going to be very, very faithful to the little details, the little nuances, and there's a lot of them in that book.
So not being an It fan, so I know fodder is German for father. Is that the reference? Was he German?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know if he was
it's-
German, but she definitely said that he came to America and joined the circus in
yeah.
the trailer.
And the thing is, he may very well have been. The thing is, I don't remember because it's been so long since I've read. The thing is, I remember a lot about it. I will always remember a lot about it, and I always pick up. It's one of those books.
Where you have to every time you read it.
Every time you read
new.
it, you get
Yeah.
something new. The long shot of her looking at the photo.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just like, people are like, oh, that's creepy. I'm like, no, it's not. That's awesome. I love the atmosphere of that scene. And it looks like we're going to get into Pennywise's origins
Yeah.
a little bit, which finally,
At least a little bit.
there was one scene that was shot for chapter 1 that didn't make it to the final cut for obvious reasons, that was an origin piece where you actually saw something. It wasn't just people talking about it. It was a scene where
Is that available anywhere to see?
no,
Oh, okay.
it was shot. It exists, but nobody's seen it.
Okay.
Outside of Warner Brothers and whoever worked on the film. I'm hoping that it makes it into the director's cut. It is a scene where it's like old colonial times, and an entity comes in, which is obviously Pennywise, but he's not in clown form.
Yeah, no.
But he's in almost like a human form. And this town, to spare their children, he has awoken 27 years,
Yeah.
and the family gives him a baby, and he eats it.
God.
Yeah,
That would have been cool.
let that sink in for a minute. That's pretty fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to have seen that
That
scene.
would have been amazing.
Even if you cut out the part where he eats the baby, you can show him handing the baby over. There's nothing gory about that.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, just
Just leave it
implied.
to the imagination.
Exactly. But the thing is, I want to see more origin, damn it. I want to see
How he came about.
them flesh out this character.
Yeah.
And I read an article where, so dumb, they said, this is what's going to end up ruining the character of Pennywise, is that they're going to take away the mystification. The books didn't do this. Number one, it was a book, not books. Right there, your credibility's taken away.
Yeah.
He's mentioned in other books, but this is the only one where he's a character.
Right.
Unless you count Dreamcatcher, there's theories about that. But number two, they did in the book a lot. There is a part of the book where the Losers Club is in their little underground hideout, and they have a smoke. They smoke each other out.
Okay.
Basically, not drugs or anything like that. But it's like an Indian ritual where basically they pass out so they can have images of things, and they see prehistoric times with dinosaurs running around, and a meteor or something hits the earth. That's it coming to
Okay.
Earth. That's how long it has been in the picture.
Yeah.
And every 27 years, it awakens to feed. It has a very rich backstory. There's nothing very mystical about it. We know that there's more to this character. I want to see it.
Yeah.
It'd
It'd be very interesting.
yeah. So the moral
That
of that
almost would
story
need
is,
its own little series.
dude, I wanted that for the longest time. Like, as much as I love the first movie, and I'm sure the second movie is going to be awesome, I'm a little bit pissed because I think that it would have been great as a limited series.
I think it's right.
2 seasons. Seriously.
Maybe
do the
maybe
first
you can
season with
petition
kids.
Stephen King to do a prequel series.
Yeah. See, the thing is, no, they just need to get it right. and I even said I would think the cool thing that they should do, what I would do if I was running Warner Brothers, maybe this is why I don't, amongst other reasons, I would make it a trilogy. You've got the first story told. You've told the kids' story
Yeah.
at this point.
And then do the origin in the middle.
Do the origin in the middle, show all of them coming back one by one. You end it with, spoiler alert, Stan's suicide.
Okay.
The way they ended the first installment of the miniseries.
Yeah.
And then the third is them preparing for the final fight and the final fight.
Yeah.
I
That
think-
would have been great.
Yeah. I think that would have been fantastic. And they would have made so much money off of it. And the fans would be happy. We would have everything that we want. But alas, I don't think that's going to happen.
That'd have been a tough sell.
Yeah, probably. But the thing is, I have an emotional attachment to the book. It was the first Stephen King book I read, which is saying a lot because it's a heavy read for, I was 11 when
wow.
I read it. Yeah.
Where's my gangbang?
See, it can happen. To get back to the trailer, stop bringing up the gangbang, please.
Can't help it.
Which there is footage in the new trailer, the second ritual of Chud, which is just them making the circle. They didn't pork. They just, reunited in a non-sexual way. That is going to be in the second film. Another thing that is going to be in the second film that I think is going to be very interesting is the Adrian Mellon story. Have either one of you read the book?
No.
Nope.
Spence, have you read the book?
Nope.
Okay, there is a story at the beginning of the book. The book is not split into 2 parts like the movies,
Right.
or they happen concurrently.
Yep.
So when the kids are in the sewer, the adults are in the sewer as well, and they keep going back and forth. You could not do a movie that way. It just
No.
wouldn't make sense. It makes it great for a book, not for a movie. towards the beginning of the book, there's a story about Adrian Mellon. He's a young gay man who lives in Derry with his boyfriend. His boyfriend hates the town. Adrian loves it. He is very much like, he's all about Derry. And there's a town festival where everybody celebrates the town. Everybody loves this town and everything. He's got this big floppy fucking hat that says, I love Derry, and all this other stuff. And this group of punks confront him on a bridge. They're homophobic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
And essentially they throw him over the bridge. And the bridge is not necessarily high enough to kill him, just to fuck with him.
Right.
Just to ruin his night, maybe put him in the hospital. But he dies. And one of the guys swears that he sees a clown taking a bite into Adrian Mellon's armpit. So it signals the return.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of the cycle. The cycles always begin and end with something very big and tragic happening. And they usually last for around a year, according to the book. And the whole point of chapter 1 is that the kids put him in early hibernation. He was not ready to go back.
Yeah.
They put a stop to it. So now it's angry and wants revenge. So anyway, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I just
know you love
realized
that stuff.
I spent the last 5 minutes rambling about, I could talk about it for hours. I won't. But the reason why I brought up the Adrian Mellon thing is because you can see the balloons going under the bridge.
Yes.
It is implied
It's a
that that's
nod
the
to that.
Adrian.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else.
I need to read that.
Oh,
I need to read it as well.
it'll take you a while. I'm going to tell you, it's a thick book, but also if you don't want to go through the trouble of reading it, I can't say this for a lot of books. I cannot recommend the audiobook more. Steven Weber reads it.
I think it might be better that way.
Oh,
I think I'll try it as an
it's
audiobook.
amazing. He changes his voice. He does it almost like a radio drama, but it's a straight reading.
Yeah.
And if nobody knows who Steven Weber is, he's typically known for being a comedic actor. He was in the show Wings.
Yep.
And
He was on iZombie. He was in Studio 60.
Yep.
Dracula
Dracula Dead and Loving It. He played Jonathan Harker in Dracula Dead and Loving It, the Mel Brooks movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But he is also very associated with Stephen King and Mick Garris, bringing Mick Garris back into the conversation. He was on that show. He played Jack Torrance in Mick Garris's Shining miniseries that was made in, I think, 97. Very, very faithful to the book. He was also in Desperation as well, which Mick Garris directed. So this guy has a strong tie. You know him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you said, what was the third thing you said he was in? Or fourth thing? I don't know.
Well, I said Wings. I think Spence said Studio 60 and
Dracula Dead and Loving
iZombie.
It.
That's the one.
Dracula Dead and Loving
and
It.
Dracula
That's the
Dead
one
and
that
Loving It.
kind of put his face in my head. But yeah.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he is.
And when I listened to the podcast, the
He's,
postmortem.
is he Ricky Bobby's dad?
No.
No.
Is that not him?
No, I don't think so. No, Ricky Bobby's. Was that my throat?
Was that, I don't know. It was either me or you.
Somebody's throat.
No, that was Gary Cole.
Yep, never mind.
Gary
Okay.
Cole was.
They do look similar, though.
Fuck. What would he be famous for? He's a character actor, so he's been. Well, I don't know. We're not talking about Gary Cole. Fuck Gary Cole. Anyway,
Rather not.
Steven Weber. He again known for being a comedic actor, but I think that this audiobook very, very well received by audiences, the people who listen to it. He just brings that book to life and gives you an amazing experience. Also, you can listen to it while you're driving and
Yeah.
doing dishes or whatever. You know, you pop in a pair of earbuds and you're good to go. So, I mean, definitely check it out. And I'll even plug them. They don't sponsor us yet. Hopefully, I'm hoping to get a sponsorship from Audible. But Audible, you can sign up for a free month and they'll give you a free book. Use that as your free book.
Oh, okay.
Because I think to buy it, it's like $35. 48 hours.
Holy.
It will take you a while. Don't expect to listen to this thing in a few
Christ.
sittings. It will take. I think the last time I listened to it, I would listen to it on rides to and from work when I was working in Ellettsville,
Yeah.
and I was driving 2 hours a day. And I think it still took me about 3.5 weeks to listen to.
God damn.
But it was a fun journey. It really was. It's a good way to invest your time. You almost feel kind of sad that it's over when it's over. It's great.
I could listen to it while I was at work.
Yeah.
Fun
don't
fact
have
about
that up.
Steven Weber: he played Alfred in the animated Batman vs. Two-Face movie.
I can buy that because they were trying to go campy with that, and I could
Yep.
see him with that weird
Yeah.
English
Yeah,
accent and shit.
exactly.
But the
He's
English
also
accent,
done a lot of Marvel
Yeah, he
voiceover
has.
stuff
That's
in the
all when I
last
was
few
looking
years.
it up.
yeah, he's got a very distinctive voice, and that lends to the audiobook. So anyway, back to the trailer. I'm telling you, man, Stephen King, it's a rabbit hole with me. A couple of things that we also notice in it. We see the ritual of Chud. We see what Bill Hader looks like. I think that that's going to be very interesting to see how he plays Richie.
I think he looks like, yeah.
Yeah, he looks amazing. And
Yeah.
the other thing, this was something that wasn't necessarily in the trailer, but something I had read. Obviously, Mike Hanlon is the one kid who stays. Everybody else fucks off after they kind of grow up and they get old enough to where they can move away.
Yeah.
Mike sticks around. He's almost like the gatekeeper. He becomes the librarian in
Okay.
Derry. And
Which one is that one again?
the black kid.
Farm Kid? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird to say, but I mean, it's, he's the only black kid in the group. So, he sticks around. And one thing that they said that may be explored, again, this is rumor, he experiments with drugs, like psychedelic drugs, to try to use that as an outlet to find a way to defeat Pennywise if he ever comes back.
Oh.
And it fucks him up. He is by far, out of everybody in the group, he's the guy he wears it.
Yeah.
Everyone else has had 27 years of peace. He hasn't. He's lived this as he grew up. So he's a little fucked up, but he's a strong guy.
Yeah.
And he's able to bring everybody back, have them keep that promise that is made at the end of that summer. I just love it.
I think it's going to be good.
I love it. Anyway. So, It Chapter 2 trailer, definitely check it out. The movie comes out in September, I believe. So,
We're on to some wrestling now.
right into early Halloween season. So, yep, let's wrap it up with some AEW news. So, this is not, okay, so make this clear, this has not been announced. They are expecting an announcement May 15th, which is this Wednesday, that indeed All Elite Wrestling will bring wrestling back to the Turner Network. TNT.
Dynamite.
You called it.
Yep. It just made sense.
Yeah.
It just made sense. And
It really does.
I love that Turner is embracing wrestling again. They thought it was a bad word there for a little while.
Kind of
which
burned them a little bit. Yeah. Well, I mean, he gave them all like carte blanche, so.
it is, according to the Wrap, and by the way, the story I'm looking at is on CBS Sports. That's how important this is. It's on CBS Sports.
No.
Which a lot of legitimate sports outlets are doing.
I think
more.
Bleacher Report has like WWE sections.
Well, that's what this is. The section is called WWE, but it covers
yeah,
wrestling. in
exactly.
general.
Well, that's the only thing you really cover at this point.
Yeah. Well,
when it comes to wrestling.
not now.
Yep.
That's what's great about this. So May 15th is the announcement that is due. That happens to be the Turner Upfronts. So just like we expected, they're gonna hopefully make that announcement.
Do you think Sausage Banks is going?
I don't know. I don't know.
She just kind of quit.
We can get into that. We
don't need to.
It should be. Well, no, I do kind of want to get into that briefly because there's a couple more. Double or Nothing is 10 days after that, by the way. And they did announce they are doing a live free pre-show on YouTube called The Buy-In, which is a great title for Double or Nothing. And it does show that AEW has a trademark registered for Tuesday Night Dynamite.
I saw that because SmackDown went to Fridays.
They're getting ready to go to Fridays this fall
And
when they move to
so
Fox.
it makes sense to go to Tuesdays. And that old spot where people were watching wrestling, they won't be able to now. And you're not competing directly against.
That's a really good idea.
That would be a stupid decision.
You'll have WWE on Monday and Friday, and then AEW on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I first read it, I'd forgotten about that for a minute. When I first read it, I was like, oh, Tuesday
Oh
night.
no, don't do it.
And right now,
Got the Tuesday Night Wars.
SmackDown is actually the better show right now.
I just saw apparently at the last Raw was the worst Raw ever. I don't know why. I didn't look into it, and I don't watch.
It will be until tomorrow night.
Oh gosh, okay.
I mean, it just gets worse and worse, man.
It's not the worst day of your life. It's the worst day of your life so far.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, Raw did fire a lead writer.
Oh, okay.
So I
Wow.
mean, they're scrambling. They're scared.
Yeah, I bet.
They are scared shitless, and this is not helping. Like he mentioned, SmackDown is moving to Fridays starting, I believe, on October 4th,
Okay.
and that's going to be concurrent with their move to Fox.
So do we think all AEW is going to be on Tuesdays at the same time as SmackDown for at least a minute until they move?
I would imagine that they probably won't start until around October. I mean, because they've still got a couple of events scheduled, like big events. Obviously, they have Double or Nothing.
So they're probably just going to be doing their events with house shows in between.
Yes, that's what I would imagine, and probably some like web shows and things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Right now, they have 3 events scheduled. May 25th, obviously, is Double or Nothing. That's this month. Expect to come over because
What day is it?
May 25th. That's probably a Sunday, I would imagine. So I don't know. We may not record that day. 25th is.
It is a Saturday.
It's a Saturday night. Woo! So
I'm off at 4.
cool. So you can come over and watch it.
Yeah, probably.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to watch. June 29th, they have Fighter Fest, which the logo looks like the Fire Festival logo.
Oh,
They're
God.
parodying it. And then Fight for the Fallen on July 13th. There is going to be a world championship. Obviously, what? What are you laughing at?
I'm just thinking of stuff if during that Fighter Fest if someone's going to suck dick for the title. Did you watch the?
Yes, I did. I
yeah.
watched both of them.
Did you watch? There's just a scene where everything.
Don't spoil it because that is like the most jaw-dropping shit in the documentary. There's a lot of it.
Do you
but,
plan to watch documentaries?
You should. Dude, you
Which
should.
Which one was it? The one from Hulu
I don't
or the one
remember.
from
I
It
Netflix?
was the Netflix
The
one.
Netflix.
Okay.
One.
Because
I was gonna
Netflix
say, I think
one-
I've seen the Hulu.
Everything's going to shit, and one of the organizers just said he's like prepared to go suck somebody's dick for water for everybody.
It's not even that.
Oh yeah.
Billy, the guy Billy McFarland, I think was his name, right? Him and Ja
Sounds
Rule
right.
created this festival, and they're trying to get water for tankers of water,
Because it's fucked.
and they had to make a deal with the regulator, and it just so happened that one of the organizers was gay.
Oh,
Or no, it was the guy who runs the Evian water company.
Yeah,
he
something
was.
like that.
Yeah, he had to get tankers of water onto the island, and so he was going to have to go to the regulator's office, and they asked him. They go, "Take one for the team. You're our gay captain." And he said, "I was literally prepared to suck dick to get that water onto the island."
He didn't
Wow.
have to. But
I
he
know
was
this
prepared
sounds.
to.
I know this sounds overly vulgar, but we're being authentic. I mean, that is.
Yeah.
And you're just like, are you fucking kidding me?
It's a crazy story.
We need to get into that. And obviously not right now, but we need to get into that some other time. That's a very interesting topic.
Not very nerdy.
Yeah, not really at all.
I think the whole thing's hilarious.
The buy-in will have a battle royale. The winner of that battle royale will get a shot at the new AEW World Championship. And
Have
I'm
they
so
unveiled it or anything?
they have not unveiled the belt itself, but
That's
they
what
have,
I'm curious about. 'Cause
Yeah.
I could make or break.
Dave Mulligan Dave Milligan. Why did I say Mulligan? Dave Milligan, who designed a lot of the older belts,
Yeah.
he is
Nice.
making the AEW World
Okay.
title. And they're calling it the AEW World title. I love that. Don't call it the World Heavyweight Championship because you're not going to have, not every champion is going to be a
Yeah,
heavyweight.
exactly.
I hate that shit. And don't call it the AEW Championship either. Call it the World title. It's a world title.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? They called the WWE Championship the WWE World Championship for about 8 months one year, right after the Universal Championship came out.
Yeah.
I was so happy. And then they went back to WWE Championship. It's just like, it's confusing. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm a traditionalist. Maybe it's just me. That's
No,
bothered by this
I
shit.
know. I get it.
So yeah, back to the original topic, TNT. TNT looks like possibly Tuesday nights. Again, none of this is real. We're going to know by the time we record
Well,
next week.
We just don't know. It's all rumors.
Yeah. But the source that is saying this is pretty reliable.
I think it's pretty much real.
And if it's showing up on CBS Sports, I mean,
Yeah.
there's got to be some pretty decent weight behind it.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
by the time we record next week, Wednesday will have come and gone, so we will be able to know for sure.
Talk about it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much all going to be spot on.
Yep. And you know what? The stuff about Sasha Banks and all that, we'll save that for next week.
Okay, yeah.
So I think we, let's see where we at on time. Okay, yeah, I think this is probably a good point to wrap it up. Spence, you got anything?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay, Brandon?
Nope.
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, just a reminder, go to nerdjab.com. We are still looking for sponsors, so you can get information on there. You can also contact me. The intro at the beginning will have my email address that you can contact me at. I need to talk to you about
Send
that.
them dick pics.
Yeah, please don't do that.
On the website as well, we have
Send
T-shirts
them
and
butthole
hoodies for
pics?
sale. As well as if you don't want to be a sponsor but still want to throw some change our way, we do have a donation form up.
Yes. We will never charge for the show.
Correct.
We are, I'm just going to bust this out. We are exploring the possibility of extra content, but
To be determined.
I don't want to say anything else until we have a concrete plan. So expect that within the coming weeks. I think we'll probably get into that. Also, over the last couple of weeks, we have had a large influx of Facebook followers. Thank you to every single one
Awesome.
of you.
Yes.
And also, thank you to everybody who's been spreading the word. That's amazing. You know, we are growing way faster than I thought that we would.
Yeah.
I think I can speak for the guys when I say they probably wasn't expecting this either.
Nope.
Not at all.
I figured like one person would listen.
Yeah. But I mean, we are steadily growing each and every week, and we could not have done it without you guys. So thank you to the listeners, but also to the people who have been spreading the word.
Yeah.
And have been just rabid. I mean, this has been great. So
And continue to do so.
please, yes, absolutely. But I
Talk our shit.
please pedal us. So anyway, I think that's a good stopping point. You can follow me at thisjoelee, thisjoelee.com. And that's Nerd Jab for this week. I'm Joe.
Brandon.
I'm Justin.
Spence.
Have a good one, everybody. Good night.
Peace.